Yo, dudes, it's Dokkan time. I just wanted to say thank you to Emilio for constantly giving these requests for how to build. But for the next couple ones, I request that we choose some units that are a little bit more relevant. But we're gonna go over it because you requested it, and I'm going to honor what I said. So this Planet Namek Goku is very irrelevant at this point. Unfortunately, his EZA was very subpar. He did only come out like a year and a half ago. Like the EZA just is kind of recent, but it was very poorly implemented. It was a very bad EZA. While we're going through his kit really quickly and deciding how to build him, I want to kind of do it based on how if he received a second EZA. Now, there is no such thing as second EZAs in the game. They have said that they do have a potential way to kind of make up for that in the future with not necessarily an EZA 2, but going forward, I would like to think maybe they'll add something to him, and I want to build him based on how they could change him up. So he's got a pretty bad leader, in all honesty. Super Saiyans and a Planet Namek Saga are not exactly a mixed category that you're ever going to run. He does actually raise allies' attack and defense by 30% for one turn. I mean, theoretically, if he EZA'd this year, like during this meta, that could have easily been a 2-turn buff. That could have turned into a 2-turn buff. It would have gave him a lot of usage for teams at that point. And I think if they ever did do a second EZA, they would 100% give that to him, and it would just make him so much more usable. He only has 150 attack and defense, and then he builds up more attack and defense when he gets hit. I think it's pretty safe to say that they built this guy to be more of kind of tankiness in a weird way. Because once he goes Super Saiyan, eventually after that HP threshold, he does start stacking defense, which is good. Stacking defense is really good. He gets more buffs if he's below 77% HP. He gets extra attack after he's been hit. He has chances to guard. He's got built-in crit based on if he guards. And then he has a rage form. So just based on how he's built, I mean, the best way you can build him is straight up just giving him additional. I won't waste anybody's time with it. He doesn't need crit. I think even if he did receive a EZA 2 of some form, they would increase this odds right here. I think that the medium chance of guarding would turn into a 50 or a 75% chance, or so a high or a great chance to guard. I really feel like that would happen. If not, just start out with some form of guard, some way to guarantee that guard is activated instead of just, getting getting attacked by a physical unit. So just so people know, if guard can still be activated if they're getting attacked by the weaker type of unit. So if you're fighting a physical type boss, Goku's gonna have guard. So that means he will have a high chance to critical for 4 turns after it's activated. So that's a good thing. You also notice it proc. It's a good proc indicator as well. If he crits, you'll understand oh, he crit. So either we got really lucky on a low chance to crit, or he actually has his guard up, because there's no notification for how guard works in this. But yeah, once he goes into the rage form doesn't really do much, unfortunately. Rage doesn't do much. It does change AGL keyspheres to STR keyspheres, which is nice, but and he greatly raises attack. I think if they made the rage form do auto crits or attacks effective against all types, the damage would be super good, or decent anyways. Very good animations for this unit. This unit actually has very good, solid animations for how old it is. How old is this unit pre-EZA? He's definitely not from 2022, that's for sure. I think Dokkan Info doesn't have their facts straight there. He is from 2019. Yeah, no, he's a pretty old unit. He's pretty old. But yeah, if he actually EZA'd again, I think a full additional build would be his best bet, and then put the rest into dodge, of course. He doesn't need crit, you know, just play off of the fact that you need to get his guard activated. He needs to be defensive, but yeah, that's how you should play him. The other thing is, like, this guy's kind of like a dead-in-the-water unit. Aside from, like, category-specific missions, you're never going to use him. He has straight-up replacement units that just outweigh his usefulness. Normally, I like to say that a unit can be used for certain category missions or maybe even a boosted effect. But unfortunately, most of the categories that need help, that he could potentially help out on, such as even Pure Saiyans. Pure Saiyans could get helps every now and again. But, I mean, he's not going to replace freaking the Intelligence Namek Goku. So, I mean, he's not going to have a placement on Pure Saiyans. Connected Hope is a really crappy category that does need help, and he's one of the few units on it. The Connected Hope category has gotten better, but I would definitely say that it's still a very meh category and does need help. The only thing I know is that there's a couple Extreme Z battles, like the Tapion Extreme Z battle, and then what was it? I'm trying to remember. I think it was Intensifying Fights mission. There is a Connected Hope mission there that, you know, stuff like that, when there's missions related, you could potentially use them. But he is just kind of so bad at this point, like, you'll never use him because he's not, even with a buffed up category damage, he's still not really doing damage. He's a longer fight-based unit, which we don't really have longer fights except for, like, the new stages for, like, Boss Rush mode. Boss Rush Red Zone is definitely one of the longer fights now in the game, but everything else is, like, turn 5, turn 7, something like that, you know? I mean, it's just, there's not really a placement for him. But if you really want to know how to build him, you know, for the future, or just for how he initially was supposed to be built, it definitely should be going for additional and dodge. So, but once again, these videos are not for everybody. They are for newer players if they so wish or need to know how to build a unit. If you have a suggestion or want to know how to build a unit, please put it down in the comments below. But also, please try to make them more relevant units. Not necessarily a unit that's kind of been dead for 2 years. But I do appreciate the request, and I hope you have a good day and a good night. And thank you once again, Melio.